Welcome back to the show. We are back in the studio with a super special guest and one of my very dear old friends who I have been trying to get on the show here for a minute, and it worked out. He's here. So Christian Kane is here in the studio with me, and Christian is one of my most cherished friendships I've had the honor of having in my lifetime. And yeah, we're going to get into a lot of stuff. So before that, though, I want to give you all a little background. I mean, I'm sure most people know out there, but for our listening audience. So Christian Kane has a highly successful, multifaceted career and is proof positive that his commitment has made him the star he is today. He's earned high praise and notable acclaim both on screens and on the music scene. So best known for hit movies Just Married, Secondhand Lions, 50 to 1, Crossfire Trail, which by the way is one of my favorite movies of yours.
I think it's one of your dad's as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's we watched it on a plane.
That was the first movie.
I love that.
Yeah, that was the first movie I had ever done. Actually, there's a second movie. The first movie I did was with McConaughey and Ron Howard at TV, but it was only a bit part. You know what I mean? And then a year afterwards, I got Crossfire Trail, and I was one of the leads with Tom Selleck. I mean, you can't.
Great movie. Yeah, and I encourage anybody to watch it if you have not seen it.
Star-studded. And
Tom
I was
Selleck.
a nobody. It was
I mean,
Mark Harmon, Virginia Madsen, Barry Corbin, Wilford Brimley, David O'Hara. It just, the list goes on and on. Yeah. It's just every other scene, there's a movie star in it. So anyway,
it's a good one. It's a good one. And then Christian has a long list of hit TV series: Leverage, The Librarians, and Almost Paradise. Yes, and Leverage, what season are we in?
We're in. You can't count it. It's
you can't count it. There's so many.
We did 5 on Turner on TNT, and then we've just done 3 on Amazon in Freevee, and now we're doing another one. So it's either 3 or 8. But I like to say it's 8 because a lot of shows.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, like 7, 8.
And the strange thing about it is we filmed the pilot in Chicago in 2007.
Yeah.
We started again. We did the pilot, and then we got picked up in 2008. So since 2008, we've been filming this TV show.
And I want to mention that these are all Dean Devlin.
Dean Devlin, my boss, on The Librarians, on Almost Paradise.
Yep.
He's been so kind to me.
Absolutely.
He's been in my corner. It's like, you know, I told him during Leverage, because Leverage is the role that I came to Hollywood to play. You know what I mean?
It's totally
it's Jason Bourne, and you know me, so it's like it's basically Jason Bourne, and I just looked at him, and I think it was first or maybe second season, and I said, you know, I could end my career working with you. And I'm on that track right now, so it's fantastic, man. He's been so kind to me, and we keep pumping out stuff that we love to work on, which is the difference between you know, sometimes you got to take a role because you need the money, or you need that sort of art in your repertoire. And this one, you know, I just hit people and smile, and it's great. And he gives me great lines, and you know, with Almost Paradise, with Leverage, it was Stallone. It was like a lot of one-liners, and then you hit somebody. With Almost Paradise, he really let me dive into my comedic love of acting, and so it's just
that's good. That's good because more people should see it, because you definitely are. You've got that good comedic genius. Well, what was that? Greg Orman was just in here, and he was saying, I forget the quote, but he was like, if you're lacking the humor, then like there was no way I was going to work with you, because he's just a funny person, and he's always on set and laughing and making everybody feel comfortable.
And you kind of have to in that position, right? I mean, you have to make someone feel comfortable, especially with, you know, I don't want to say young girls as in like that, but you know, younger people coming to Hollywood, they got to feel comfortable, and celebrate what they're doing. So it's I've actually known Greg for a long time. I don't know him, you know, like know him, but I met him a few times. Yeah. 25 years ago or something like that, and he was always a stand-up guy. Yeah,
I was real happy to finally have him on the show.
Oh, that's great.
Okay, also must be noted, because I am such a fan of your music, and when you and I met, I mean, you were doing both, but and to this day, I still have that first CD that you put out.
The black CD.
Yeah.
It's worth like $250.
Oh, really?
Don't sell it, but I'm just saying.
I would never sell it.
I didn't know that. Somebody said the other day, it's like, I found one online, and it was $250, and somebody bought one like 6 months ago for $275. We just don't have it anymore, and we don't have the stuff. It was weird because we re-recorded that album at oh my gosh, it was at Dwight Yoakam's studio. And so it was all on 3-inch tape, you know, it was on tape. So it's not digital anymore where you can just transfer it. It's like actual tape.
Right.
So that's it. But,
yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So huge fan of your music. And you have a huge following of the Caniacs is what they call themselves.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Ma'am.
And a lot of recognition in Europe. Yes. And the UK and in Germany, you've got some pretty major fans.
We have really great
music,
fans.
or?
We have great fans for music, and we also have fans, you know, one of the shows you didn't mention that I was on was Angel.
Well, yes, but I was going to get into that.
Yeah. Well, see,
yes.
so it was like, so whenever Baywatch, you know how popular the Hasselhoff was in Germany.
Of course,
like,
yeah.
And whenever Baywatch was the #1 show in Europe, left, there was a void, and I think Buffy and Angel picked that up. And so I've been doing conventions for over 20 years. In London and in Germany, and you know, we played Fulda, we played Munich, we played you know, all this other kind of stuff. And so, and I'm not one of those guys, and one of the reasons why I have the unbelievable and the great fans that I do is because I don't sit backstage and wait for us to come on. We played every city, and we played every with music, we played every state in this country, I think, except for maybe South Dakota, North Dakota, and then I'm being dead serious. I mean, like,
that's wild.
And so I came out and gave everybody a hug before the show and tried to give everybody a hug after the show, and I think that shows. I was just thankful to be there. I was thankful that there were, you know, fans of the television series and the movies that I'd done, but more importantly, the music. And
well,
instead of sitting back there and acting like an asshole,
yeah.
I came out and gave everybody a hug.
That speaks volumes to you and your
so.
character, and
Yeah.
I mean that goes such a long ways with the fans. So I can imagine that they like completely appreciated that, you know.
Yeah.
So a couple things. So I wanted to bring up, and then we're gonna get into Playboy.
Yeah.
And
why is a guy like me
and your affiliation
gotcha.
with Playboy. So Christian and I have a lot of things in common, but there's 3 right now that come directly to my mind. So number 1, we're both Cherokee.
Both Cherokee Indian. Yep.
None of it. Yep. Number 2, we're both from Texas.
Both from Texas.
Yes. And number 3, we both have a long and dear friendship with Jaime Bergman and David Boreanez.
And David Boreanez, that's right. Well, I just ruined it with the Angel thing, but you rolled right into it. Yeah.
But
still to this day, so it's really great.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to get into Linda Brava. So for our audience, and I'm sure that most of them do know who she is.
Linda Brava, or Linda Lampiños.
Yeah. Finnish classical concert violinist and named as one of the most versatile and accomplished players of her generation. And in addition to playing classical violin, she also performs pop, rock, folk, techno, film, jazz, basically everything. I mean, she's absolutely incredible. A uber talented blonde bombshell that most certainly caught the eye of Hugh Hefner and was featured in the April '98 issue of Playboy, which was shot by Arnie Freytag, legendary Arnie Freytag. Yeah. So I just found this out that when Linda was living here in LA, she appeared on Fame LA.
She appeared on Fame LA. That's how I met her.
Was that how you met her?
That's
okay.
exactly how I met her.
Okay.
Yeah.
That made sense.
Yeah.
So I found the actual show on YouTube, and I was like, oh my God. I was like, that has to be when they met.
That's exactly when we met. Yeah.
So Christian and Linda dated.
Yes.
And that's how this ties into Playboy.
Yeah.
And it was when she appeared in the magazine, right?
She was right before she appeared in the magazine. She was coming out.
Okay.
So she wasn't in the magazine just yet.
Okay.
But she had done, I think that she'd came in, and I think she did Baywatch before.
Yeah, she did Baywatch, Fame LA,
yeah, she did Fame
Melrose
LA.
Place.
Yeah, and so she had come out, and I didn't know, there was this violinist that was going to come up and play. And I was too busy. I was very young. It was my first TV series ever, and she came up, and she started playing in the scene.
Yes.
And I'm just like, oh my God. And I actually had lines with her because we all kind of hung out in this scene afterwards because she was doing the talent stuff. And I was mesmerized.
I bet.
Yeah. I mean, I'm 23 years old, and there was this girl, and she just, yeah. And she was playing the violin.
But the musical aptitude that she had, that probably resonated with you too, because you are a musician.
It was just incredible, man. And I was learning to be a musician at that time because the original role on Fame LA was a comedian. And I got the role, and they said, "You're not funny." and I like to think
you're not.
I like
funny.
to think that I've proved them wrong at this point. One of these guys are so good to me. Richard Barton Lewis, Penn Densham, John Watson. They were Trilogy Entertainment, and they took a shot on me with no background in anything yet. I just moved here. And so I was learning to play music, and it wasn't about me music. There was no music ties whatsoever. It was the fact of what she could do with the violin. She was playing Mozart better than Mozart played.
She's incredible.
Yeah, and I'd never seen anything like that, and especially someone that looked like her. It was just an entity. It was
total Scandinavian, just that perfect blonde hair, blue eyes.
Yeah.
I mean,
and if I'm correct, and I don't know if this is true or not, but the cover of Playboy that she's on, there's 2 of her. They made her look like they did 2.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll have to pull that.
There's a thing. Yeah. Is
it the one where she's crawling and she has her violin?
And then there's another one with her there. So she's the only person I think in Playboy that was ever doubled. So it was a kind of a controversial thing because I think everybody thought it was twins.
Okay.
You know.
That's a cool little factoid.
Yeah, and so I think she was the only one that was ever doubled on the cover of Playboy magazine. I'm almost positive that's true.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
I will find that out. That's super cool. We always pull out like little golden nuggets of history every time we do an interview with somebody.
Oh, that's really
like who knew?
Well,
Yeah.
I got a couple for you.
Yeah, I bet.
But the thing is that I just I was very young. She was a little older than me. But I didn't care, and she
said that you were a true cowboy, and she loved you deeply. And you said to me just recently that Linda Brava is gold, and I mean that says a lot.
She's just gold, and we fell in
massive.
love, and she was in and out, and so she was always staying in a hotel or whatever, and I had a place, and so I said just come with me, and so we sort of moved in together.
Okay.
And they lived happily ever after.
For a year?
No. Not even close.
Not even close. 6 months.
No.
Okay, but during that time, then, did you start going to the mansion with her? And because this would have been right when Hef had split up with Kimberly Hefner, his wife, and so the party started. He had the multiple girlfriends.
They were all coming back. Yeah.
And
there was 3 girls.
Mandy, Sandy, and Brandy.
Yeah. Who?
Brandy Roderick, Playmate of the Year, 2001.
Absolutely. And then who were the other ones?
Mandy and Sandy Bentley. They were the twins.
Bentley. Okay.
Yeah, Mandy
I remember
and Sandy
them.
Bentley.
They were very nice.
They were lovely.
I loved them. Yeah, I actually talked to Brandy for a little bit one time, and she was I just found her to be a sweetheart.
I mean, total class act in comparison to what came later with the multiple girlfriends, including.
Who was the other girl that was? So it was Mandy, Sandy. No.
It was Brandy, Mandy, and Sandy.
Mandy.
And then they left, and then it started coming into multiples, at which that point Holly Madison came on board, and then
the donut lady.
The donut lady.
Holly Madison? No, that's Dolly Madison.
That's Dolly Madison. Yeah.
Who's Holly?
So Holly Madison. Do you remember The Girls Next Door?
I do.
That show.
I never really saw it.
It was the 3 girlfriends. It was Holly, Bridget, and Kendra, and Holly was the main girlfriend. So that's who Holly Madison is.
I don't
and
know
she has whatever. She has a.
I thought you were messing with me for a second. I thought I was like the don't. Was it that the don't? No, it was a cupcake. I don't know what it was. But anyway.
Holly Madison.
Holly Madison.
That's great.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're gonna come back to Holly because there's a couple things I want to talk about, but do you remember Linda taking you to a New Year's Eve party and meeting Anna Nicole Smith?
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
Was that the first time you went?
Just doing my research.
Oh, yeah.
No, that was actually through a conversation with me and Linda.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I did, and I walked up, and I mean, talk about somebody else that was just like, I mean, she was so nice.
Stunning,
So nice. A lot bigger than most people think. You know what I mean? Because it was like, you know, she's really
a big girl. She's curvy.
She's a model. She's a curvy, but not bigger like that. Even tall. I mean,
she's very tall.
Yeah, exactly. And so I was just sitting there, and it was weird because I had to not look at her as I was, because I'd met other playmates. I'd met everybody. At this point, I had been to the mansion a few times. Now, listen to me. I'm still a little kid out of Texas and Oklahoma.
Exactly. You were
just got my first job, fresh on the scene, and to be, I don't even know if you should be, as a guy dating someone who's in the magazine, I'm not sure if you should be allowed into that place until you've either lived in LA for 5 years or you're at least 30.
That's actually a really good point.
You know what I mean? Because it can really ruin guys' heads. Because they make you go a little
sideways.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I did meet her, and it was I met Anna Nicole Smith, and it was all I could do to not stare at her when I'm sitting there with a very pretty girl with Linda Brava.
Yeah.
But it was just I remember that, and I'm like yeah. And I kind of sit there and kind of looked at her. Is that what she said? Anyway. Where did she say this to you?
when?
When you talk to her? Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
yeah,
all
because
right.
she's going to come on the show and do an
fantastic.
interview eventually. So she had said that she had taken you to a New Year's Eve party and that you were excited to meet Anna
She
Nicole.
took us
and I
to
was
a
like,
couple
that's
of-
so cool.
Yeah, she took us to a
So
couple
did you
of,
do movie nights and stuff too?
We did do movie nights. As a matter of fact, I remember this is before everything went bad. Not with me and Linda, just went bad. I remember going there, and we had, especially because you said Hef was going through a divorce,
Right.
whatever it was, a separation, whatever it was, and so he started getting back in the scene. We started having, he had the dinner night, on
he
Sunday
came
nights.
out, yeah.
So
he's
it's
back
Saturday
in the, yeah.
nights, a big party, and then on Sundays it's dinner night. You have dinner. It's a very intimate dinner, and I was there. And then he has movie night. And if you how do you explain movie? You ever talked about movie night on this show?
Oh yeah, all the time.
So movie night, so everybody knows. So there's this big long couch, and Hef sits on it. And
in the
he's behind-
front, obviously.
in the front, and
Yeah.
everybody's like it's sort of
They have
theater
designated
seating
seats,
in the back.
basically. Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so then we got done having dinner, and he invited Linda to sit on the couch with him.
Okay.
But I'm there,
Okay.
so I sat on the couch.
Shut the
So
front door.
hold on,
You did not.
Hold on, I
Oh my
did.
God.
I listen.
This is good. Yes.
You can ask Joel and Allison. You can, or Joel.
yes, Joel and Allison.
You
of
can
course.
ask them because
Okay.
they know.
Okay.
And so it was very strange for me because I didn't know this at the time, and this is where it gets very interesting.
Okay.
So it's a huge couch. It's a very, very long couch.
Right.
So Hef's usually wearing pajamas or his robe.
Always.
And he sits with his legs down the couch. You know what I mean? It's not just like he's at the corner. And so then Linda sat, and then I sat on the side. And this is if anybody can trump me on this, I welcome you to, because I'm not sure if I'm 100% correct. But I know some people that will back.
Yeah.
I believe to this day, and this is where I come into history. Wait. I believe to this day, I am the only guy besides Hef that sat on that couch.
Wow. I wonder if that's the case. If that's the case,
I've
that
been told.
is legendary.
Legendary. I'm the only
Nobody
guy that's
did.
ever sat on the couch and watched the movie. And God, I wish I could remember what the movie was. But it would really date me at that point.
He's like, I really want Linda next to me, so come on,
That's
Christian Kane.
Listen, and that's where the story leads. But I'm just telling you, yeah.
He loved Linda.
Yeah.
She was the epitome of like.
He did so much that I started kind of getting moved out of the whole thing. I don't know if you went through that story or not. Have I ever told you that story? I mean, I can tell
No.
you. It's pretty.
Wait, does it have to do? Yes, I know.
It's
it has
going
to
to
do.
ruin. Yeah.
No, so we want to hear it. So,
Okay.
yeah.
So here's the gig. So I'm a young cat, right? And you know what I mean? And I'm dating. I don't want to call her an old. She wasn't that older than me, but she was more seasoned. She had seen life. She had seen a lot of stuff. And I'm brand new to Hollywood, especially brand new to the mansion. We had gone a couple of times. Like I said, I got to sit on the couch with Hugh Hefner. So we've gone a couple of times, and so I'm. At some point, I believe, and I know it to be true, I think Hefner decided that he wanted Linda. I'm just.
I don't doubt that.
I'm just gonna put it out
I
there.
don't doubt that.
So I remember being on set. She went to a party. So here's the gig. So we would show up, and guys would be, some of Hef's friends, some older gentlemen and stuff like that. And when I say older, I'm talking geriatric.
Older. Yes.
They would come up and they said, "Hey, Christian, do you mind if we take a picture with Linda?" And it was Scott, and do you mind? And I'm like, "Absolutely." That's
Scott
what she's
Baio.
here for. She said, no, it wasn't Scott. Scott, not this one. So Scott. So these guys would go and they would take pictures. The older gentlemen, I think some of them were actors. I sort of recognized them. I don't know what it was,
Yeah,
but I remember this
maybe,
one cat with glasses. He was kind of tall, and he would just be like, "Hey, can we take it?" And I'm like, "Absolutely. That's what she's here for." And I didn't care. And then it started becoming, hey, and they weren't talking to me anymore after the parties. They would just come over and sort of
Straight
get
to
in the minute.
Linda,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then all this stuff. And then so one night, and here's where it really went bad. But it has a good ending.
Okay.
So I show up, and I just got done working on a show, and we wrapped. And so I came to the mansion. I'm supposed to be there. I'm her date. And if you know anything about going to the mansion, if you've been before, you got to talk to the rock.
Talk to the
You got to
rock.
talk to the rock. If you don't know where it's at, you're going to go past it. There's a rock with nothing on it except there's a speaker if you see it.
At the front gate.
At the front gate. And you stop and you talk to the rock. And I'm like, "Hey, it's Christian Kane. I'm here." And they're like, "You're not on the list." And I'm like, "No, I'm with Linda BRAVA. Her plus
You're like,
one's
I am.
You're not on the list." And I'm like,
When you're not on the list, it's not good.
so back then, man, we, cell phones were like these big, you didn't have it in your pocket. You couldn't whip it out and go, hey, what the hell's going on? You know, I'm like looking at this thing, this monstrosity. People are honking at me, and I'm about to punch a fucking rock. And I said, hey, they're not letting me in. They're not letting me in. So anyway, she had to do some stuff. I was like 45 minutes, and finally I got in. And I walk over.
That's annoying.
She's talking to a table, which is fine, but I'm mad. I'm livid.
Of course, yeah.
So anyway, she's talking to Scott Baio.
Yeah.
And I had a problem with that guy, but whatever. I mean, I don't know, maybe now, but the thing is, and it's fine. But then we walk off, and I'm trying to tell her, I'm like, what's the deal? I can't do, and the dude comes in that usually asks for my permission or usually sort of gets in my way. He's like, Linda, smashes into me, spills his drink. Linda goes over with thing. I grab the guy by the wrist in the scotch, and I just twist his wrist. And he goes down to one knee, and it's an older gentleman. It's an older guy. And so I'm sitting there, and I was like, and he was like, I go, don't ever do that to me again. Don't ever bump into me,
put
motherfucker.
your hands on me either.
And he's like, you don't know how it works here, son. You're not from here. You don't know. You're not supposed. And I said, you know what? You're right. I'm not from here. I'm from Oklahoma, and I'll break your fucking hip.
Right.
I go, don't. And he was like, you're out of here. And I'm like, well, what? I go, I'm leaving anyway. And I went over to Linda, and I go, they're going to kick me out. I'm leaving. And she's like, what did you do? And I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to talk about it because I'm so livid right now. It's ridiculous. Yeah. So security comes over.
And
/ waiters.
Escorted you off.
/ Playgirl models. With their shirts off and their little bow ties, holding a little thing of this, and they're going to escort me off. And I looked at both of them. They were good-looking guys. And I said, and I was walking out on my own. Like I'm walking out on my own, and they were walking with me. I said, I swear to God, if one person touches me, if you lay a hand on me, I'm biting something off your fucking face. I'm just going to turn around and bite your nose and take a cheek off, whatever it is.
You're pissed.
I said, don't ever touch me.
Yeah.
And I left, and I went home. She stayed there. So I'm at home where we both live hours, and I'm got my hand on the door.
Yeah.
And finally she gets out of the car. Hef had brought her home, which I thought really strange, in the limo. And
Hef brought her home in the limo.
He brought her home in the limo, and then
okay.
they got out, and I'm looking through the peephole.
Yeah.
And he gave her a goodnight kiss, and it was not a make-out, but it was way longer than it should have been.
And you saw that.
Yeah. And I'm like, I'm just getting ready to open the door, and I'm going, I know the cats that he's with, and I know the strap. I know he's got two guys in the car with guns. I'm not about to. How bad would it be? Ex-boyfriend comes out, because that's pretty much what I was at that moment. So anyway, she comes in the house, and I still love her to this day. She's she's like, you can't come to the mansion anymore. Hef says you're not invited. I was like, fuck that old man. I was like, I was just, so I was never invited back until
dun dun dun.
So we went our separate ways. She had to go. Listen, you have to understand something, and I want to say this about her. You have to understand the fact that we were good. We were good together. I mean, we were trying to enjoy life the best we could at the thing, but she would go off for weeks, sometimes months.
Working.
Like, not working, playing with Pavarotti. You know what I mean? Like playing these huge shows across the world. It wasn't like she was in Utah. You know what I mean? She was in Belgium. She was in Switzerland. She was in Sweden.
Impressive.
She was playing big shows with very, very big people. And then she would come home, and I would be standing there. And there's this 22, 23-year-old kid fresh off the boat in Hollywood with a show, Fame LA. I'll never talk bad about that show. It gave me my start, and I loved it.
Of course.
But it wasn't, Friends. It wasn't Seinfeld. It was Fame LA.
Yeah.
So anyway, so we ended up going our separate ways. But there were times in that house where someone would deliver a $2, maybe $3 million Stradivarius. And it would be in the house. And there would be two guys outside, parked outside my house with guns.
To protect
it.
It's a commodity, yeah.
And I remember one time I got it out. I think she was in the shower, and I started playing Garth Brooks, like
with your fingers.
Yeah. She came out of there in a towel, and I was sitting there with a $2 million Stradivarius playing a little country, and she's never hit me in her life, but that time she slapped me pretty good. That was
Don't
good.
You touch that.
No, and she's absolutely right, but here I am again, this young kid. But the moral of that story is there was also other nights when she would pick it up, and it would be at night, and the moon, where we lived, the moon came off into the room. And I was laying in bed watching TV or something, and she would get up and just like play because she had something on her mind. And I mean, this is Playboy, so I don't think I'm out of line. She would be naked, and she would stand there and play Mozart better than I've heard Mozart being played in the moonlight, naked with a Stradivarius.
Wow, what an image!
And I remember a lot about her. you know, time is fading. But I'll never forget that image. I'll never forget that.
Yeah, it's
I
like
remember,
ingrained.
I can't remember some of the houses I've lived in after that, but I remember the color of the carpet. I remember how the blinds were. There was a little, you know what I mean? I just remember that picture. And so I'm not invited back to the Playboy Mansion. We went our separate ways. I said, I think this is happening. And she said, no, it's not. And she came back one time and said, yep, pretty much everything you said is going on, especially with Hef. Hef wanted her. Yeah. I can't compete with that. Yeah. But then, so I'm never invited back to the mansion again for fighting at the mansion. Who fights at the mansion? I didn't really fight anybody. I just took the guy down because
you just told him, get your hands off me.
So never invited back ever until I get a phone call and from my manager, and it said the Playboy Mansion would like to have you come to the party. I'm like,
why?
I have no idea. I didn't know. Was like, what the hell's going on? And then it dawned on me. They had forgotten. And Just Married was #1 at the box office.
Yep, that's right.
So I was really nervous going back. And I said, called my buddy Chris Judd, who's a dear friend of mine.
Yeah.
Has been for years and years.
Yeah.
And I called Chris Judd, and he had just gone through a bad divorce himself with
J-Lo,
J-Lo.
Right? Yeah.
And I said, come with me, man. So he came with me. So we went back, and it was fun. I looked around, and it was strange because I was older now.
You saw it with a different set of eyes.
I did, yeah. It wasn't. I'd already taken the curtain back and seen the Wizard of Oz.
Sure.
And so when I went back, I'm like, and then I walked in. Ironically, I walked into the grotto for the first time.
Really? That was like the first time you ever
That was the first time that I'd ever been there after all those times of going. And I'm just like going, this is a little smutty.
This is not what.
This is not what's you know what I mean? And I just started seeing it in a different light. And I was invited back, but I never went back.
That was it.
That was it for me. I just didn't feel like that place was for me anymore. And I didn't like the nervous fact of all those people were still there.
Right, not knowing.
And if they look at me, they're going to be like, "That's the guy that," you know what I mean. And so I just didn't really feel welcome. Yeah. And I never saw Hef because I avoided him. Just because if he saw me, he'd know that I was back.
Interesting. Yeah. Oh, that's a good little story.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing.
So anyway, that was good. That was my Playboy experience, and then.
Well, and then it kind of goes on because, okay, so we're going to get into David Boreanez and Jaime Bergman.
Well, yes, absolutely.
Right. So as our audience knows, Jaime Bergman was a smash hit with Playboy. Have absolutely adored her.
Just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
Gorgeous. Yeah. I was actually there the night that she came up to the mansion the first time, and she was sitting at the table with him, and I just saw how he was looking at her, and I was like, she's going to be...
Boreanez or Hef?
Hef looking at Jaime.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So Jaime was going to be Playmate of the Year, but she had just booked the show to star in Son of a Beach.
Son of a Beach.
Yes.
It's a
spoof of
Baywatch. Yeah.
Right. And so so she was bound by that contract, and she was not going to be available to do the PMOY duties. Mm-hmm. Hef went ahead and gave her the cover, the 2000 cover. It's July 2000 cover, as well as a substantial payday.
Right.
But she didn't have to do the PMOY because he was just so uber proud of her, and that's just a true testament on Hef's behalf that he, adored her and applauded what she had achieved. And so Jaime Bergman and I were very good friends. We worked a lot together, and then her and David got together. Now, the background on you and David is Angel.
But but it's funnier than that. It's actually funnier than that because
know more because you were there.
Well, he was on Buffy. On the WB, not CW. He was on Buffy at the time. He was Angel on Buffy. And I was doing a show called Rescue 77. Okay. Which was a firefighting show.
I remember that, yeah.
And then my show didn't go. Well, it did. It went a season, but it's like, so then David and I knew each other, and it's a funny story how we knew each other. So we went to, so I showed up on set because I had auditioned for this character Riley on Buffy, and I didnn't get it. But I, had gone in front of Joss Whedon, and my dear friend, who's way better at that than I would have been, which is Mark Blucas. Mark Blucas got it. Who we later did Summer Catch together. So I didn't get the role, but I think Joss wanted to work with me, and so he brought me in on the pilot of Angel. So I went over to David's trailer and knocked on the door, and I was like, "What's up?" And he was like, "What are you doing here?" And I was like, "I'm in the show." Now, more on that later. Just real quick, but this is the funniest part was the way I met Boreanez. We used to work out in the gym. We used to look at each other and like,
what's up?
Yeah. Arms are big.
Size each other up.
That's exactly what was going on. And then one night, knowing that I was a fan, knowing that I was a fan. It's going to be hard to tell the story. I'm going to try to make it quick. Knowing that I was a fan, my director of Fame LA, the first guy who ever directed me, was Kenny Ortega. Now, Kenny Ortega was responsible for High School Musical. Kenny Ortega is in Michael Jackson. You know what I mean? He's like, it's Kenny Ortega.
Okay.
His feet were Patrick Swayze's feet dancing on the log.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Wow, how cool.
So he was a choreographer for Dirty Dancing as well. So he knew I was a fan of the person that we're getting ready to pick up. And he said, I want you to come with me tonight. And I was like, all right. And he goes, dress up. I said, okay. I got on the best thing that I could at the time. I didn't own a suit and tie. You know, I mean, I didn't speak American Express on my first TV show.
I didn't speak American Express.
So the thing was is he picked me up in a limo and he was like, we got to make a stop real quick. And he stopped the car and damn it, Patrick Swayze and his wife, Lisa Naomi, got in the car.
Whoa.
And I'm sitting there staring at Patrick Swayze.
Yeah.
And Kenny doesn't say anything. He just starts talking. And I realized through the trip, and then Jennifer Grey got in the car. They made another stop. Now, I didn't recognize Jennifer because she had some work done, you know, but I still think she's unbelievably beautiful. And I hate this town that they have not put her back out there. She's an incredible actor.
Isn't
Who cares?
that the truth?
It's just bullshit.
Yeah.
There's so many A-list actresses that don't look like themselves anymore, but she got shunned.
Right.
Somebody should give her a role and bring her to the top again because she deserves it. Anyway,
I concur.
They're in the car, and I put it together. We're going to the re-release of Dirty Dancing.
Oh, my goodness.
And so we went to the re-release of Dirty Dancing that year. And Boreanez was there with his manager Tom Paziali, and they sat.
Tom,
I love
Tom.
Tommy.
Yep.
Tommy P. And so they sat right next to us, and so me and Boreanez were sitting together. So we just became friends.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And then he would come over to the house and drink a little bit sometimes, but we hadn't done Angel, but then we did Angel together. Oh. And I'm supposed to be a one-off. I was just the pilot and stuff like that. And here's the funniest thing about this is that if you don't know this, there's ensemble cast. I was reoccurring. There's only 2 people that did the pilot.
It's you and
5 seasons.
Yeah.
And the final episode. There's only 2 people that were in both.
You and David.
Me and David Boreanez.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's legend.
And he's one of my best friends, man. He was one of my dearest friends at the time, and we just went to London together for a convention and reconnected. And I talked to him yesterday, and it's but it's just great. But yeah, so he was my dear friend.
Yes. And Jamie was my
I was
dear
there
friend.
when he met Jamie.
Yes,
I was at the wedding.
Yes.
I was there when she was pregnant.
Yes.
And they had you know what I mean? So it was great. Yeah. And exactly. And you knew Jamie.
Yeah, and so so that kind of parlays into then how you and I know each other.
Yeah.
And when I told Jamie that I had met you, and she just was like, "Oh my God, we love Christian," and I had no idea that you were so tight with David. So it was like this perfect.
It's a small world.
Yeah, totally.
It's a small world.
Totally. And so it was at that point that we all spent a lot of time together.
You have to get up to Ramon. Ramon's one of my favorites.
So yeah, So how do we know each other, Christian Kane?
I was on the set. That's why I said you got to give that to Ramon. I was on the set of Secondhand Lions.
Which was filming in Austin.
Where I'm from. You were in Austin. And there's this cowboy out there from Santa Fe. Your dad knows him really well.
Well, he was my father's hatter.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
And his name is Ramon. And he's made of rubber. He can do anything on a horse. He falls horses, when that was legal. All that kind of stuff. He jumped off a building. I slammed him into a table full of spices. I beat Ramon up probably 16 times on that movie. And I did all my own stunts, you know what I mean? So I'm just like doing.
Yes.
And so I would train Ramon. There was one scene that we filmed for a long time. It's when I go save the princess on Secondhand Lions. And I cut through all these guys with a sword. And I swear, I take out Ramon, and if you watch it, you'll see it. I take JJ out, JJ Dashnall, very good stunt guy, stunt coordinator for NCI. I mean, like, huge stunt coordinator. His dad's a huge stunt coordinator. Take JJ out, and then Ramon comes, and I take Ramon. Ramon takes a flip, hits the ground, runs around, goes back through the door, and I fight him again on my way through all the guys. And he was sitting there in his knees. I think he was icing his knees, and he's sitting there, and he's got a really great accent.
My goodness, yeah.
He's like Christian Kane.
Exactly.
I was like, and I'm out of breath too because I'm cutting through all these. And he's like, I go, what, man? He goes, Christian Kane. He goes, Echo Johnson. I
love this story.
Said, what?
So
he's got ice on his knees, and he's sweating. He goes, Echo Johnson. I said, I know of her. I mean,
I know who.
One of my favorite people I've ever seen in Playboy. I was in love with you. I mean, I was in college, and I'm going, oh, my God, this girl's so beautiful. I said, I know of her. He goes, you make a call? I was like, yeah.
And you're like, wait, how do you
wait.
her?
I know. I go, you're from Santa Fe. You're from New Mexico. She goes, her dad's out there. Anyway, it's almost Boomhauer. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Actually,
go,
that's
no,
very similar. Yeah.
And so I said, yeah. And so I gave you a call. And I never thought you were actually going to show up. I thought this is going to be something.
And I
weird.
didn't know. I had no idea who you were.
No.
None.
No.
Zero.
And so we met at the Omni Hotel.
Yep.
And then I go, all right, well, this is not fair. Because I saw you at the bar because I was walking down there. And she's very beautiful. And it is Echo Johnson. And I said, man, she's going to get a whole look at me. I'm like on display because the Omni has this glass elevator. So I'm sitting there, and man, if it couldn't have been any slower, man, it was like, yeah. And I'm just going,
and it was
so
just
I get in,
you
boom,
in the elevator.
Yeah, and I'm going down, and it's just so slow, and it's glass, and you're sitting there looking, and I'm just going, oh my God.
True
what
story.
I go, this is not fair, man. She gets to like totally check me out. And then I think we went to eat. We went to a pool hall. I think I got in a fight with a couple of guys playing pool with you. And then,
they were looking at my ass or something.
Yeah, something like that. And then
we fell in love.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we had a good go.
We had a great go. And that's the whole point of the story, was the fact that, you know, it was Boreanez was my best friend at the time. You were, you know, great friends with
tight
Jamie.
with Jamie.
I was tight with Jamie. So it was just a family of us four just getting to hang out. And it's such a young time in our life, you know what I mean?
Best time.
Yeah.
So much fun.
Yeah.
Here in LA, I mean, just everything that was going on.
And you know,
crew.
David, I'll just tell you a little. You know, me and David used to go out before he met Jamie. It was just me and David. We would go out and we would hang out and do all this other stuff. And David had just gotten a house, and there was no furniture in it. I was staying the night over. I was sleeping on like a box and a couch or what. You know, he had a bed, I had the couch, and that's what it was. There's no food, no kitchen. The kitchen was beautiful, but there's nothing in it. We're two guys, and he's living there, and he just got the house.
Right.
And then he met Jamie, and Jamie made that house a home.
Yeah.
And that was the perfect time. And so now it was just like a family, man. His sister would be there, his brother-in-law. You know, everybody would come over and just kind of hang out. And that was one of the best times of my life, man.
I mean, when they met, it was like instant. Like they fell in love with each other like at first sight.
Yeah.
And they just never left each other.
And I'll be honest with you, you'd think that me and Boreanez going out all the time and doing stuff like that. I mean, we'd go to work and then we'd go out. And it was really weird because we went out on odd nights, but then so did Hollywood.
Yeah.
Hollywood went out Monday through Thursday. They don't go out on the weekends because it's riffraff night. Everybody else comes in from out of town.
Sure.
Nobody knows that. That's years and years, you know, actors and everything else. We only go out during the week.
Huh, that is interesting. I never thought about that, but that makes sense because they come from the inland.
And it also makes sense when half of your cast on Angel turns to dust when the sunlight hits them. So we're only night shoots. We're only night shoots. So me and Boreanez worked, you know, from 6 at night until 6 in the morning on Friday, or on, you know, sometimes on Thursday and on Friday. We always had night shoots. We'd get off on Saturday morning just because you had to film.
You had to film at night because
So I would go, you know, we'd go have a drink and I'd probably stay there, and then we'd go, you know, Saturday would come around. We'd do it on Saturday. But anyway, the point being was I never knew him with anybody else. Mm-hmm. I mean, I've seen him talk to girls,
like date,
but not like this. When she showed up, it was over, man. He was
it was instant.
Yep.
It
was really nice.
Well, and I gotta applaud them. I mean, gosh, what is it? 20 plus years now of marriage. I mean, that's amazing.
It's got to be.
Yeah.
So it's 20. Oh, easy. 20, probably 20, 22 years, 23 years.
Yeah. Yay!
Yeah, good for them.
Shout out
2 kids.
Yes, 2 kids. Exactly. I love it. Okay. All right. I'm going to ask you a couple rapid fire questions.
Okay, go.
Texas or Oklahoma?
Texas.
Acting or music?
Acting.
Blonde or brunette?
Brunette.
Oh. Okay. And do you have a motto?
I have 2.
What are they?
That I live by since I came to Los Angeles.
Okay.
Number 1 is you learn, well, that's number 2. I use that one a little bit more today, but I'll tell you the first one. This was in order for a long time. And it's Woody Allen. And it's 90% of life is showing up.
So true.
Yeah.
I love that.
And then
you've used that, like that's been your thing since you got here.
Show up, because there's been times where I'm on the couch, I'm like, I don't want to go, and then I'll go, and it'll change my life.
True.
You know
and that is so true, and just applies across life.
I'll tell you. Let me tell you my second one, and I'll wrap it up with a really great story. The second one is you learn to fight by fighting, which is Bruce Lee. You learn to fight by fighting. Mm-hmm. You can't read it in a book. Mm-mm. You learn to cook by cooking. You learn to dance by dancing.
You hone your skills.
Absolutely. You learn to fight by fighting. And that's Bruce Lee, and I carry that one with me everywhere. 90% of life is showing up. So I got a script for a show called Leverage. And I was doing music at the time. I was in Nashville, finishing up my album with Sony. Mm-hmm. And I opened it up, and it said this and that, this and that. And I went to my character, and it said, Elliot Spencer walks in. I've told this story before. Elliot Spencer walks into a bar. My boss, which I thought, Dean Devlin, I thought he would be upset for me telling this story. He loves me telling this story.
Yeah.
Because it'll show you.
Okay.
90% of life showing up. I open it up, it says Elliot Spencer walks into a bar wearing wire-rimmed glasses, sipping tea. The first time you see me in Leverage, that's what you look at.
Wow.
Elliot Spencer walks into a bar wearing wire-rimmed glasses, sipping tea.
Uh-huh.
I took it. I shut it. I'd already gotten in a bad thing over another thing that I was doing. I said, I'm not doing this bullshit again. It hit the wall, went behind the couch. 2 days go by, my agent calls and goes, what'd you think, man? What'd you think? And I was like, I go, I'll be honest with you, man. I go, don't ever send me shit like this again. I go, I'm not playing. He was like, oh, well, John Rogers wrote it was sort of like with you in mind.
With you in mind,
Dean Devlin. I was like, whoa.
Really? I didn't know.
I go, John Rogers, Dean Devlin. What do you... I dive under the couch, I grab it, I pull it out, and I read it again, and I'm like, Elliot Spencer, what kind of name is that? Elliot Spencer walks into a bar wearing wire-rimmed glasses, sipping tea, and then kicks the shit out of 40. I go, I'm on a plane. He was still on the phone. I go, I'm on a plane. I read it on the plane. I didn't read the next line.
Yeah, right.
And I almost lost. If you think about this is a horror story.
Absolutely.
I almost lost that role, and if I would have lost that role, I would have lost the last 15 years.
Yeah,
with my
that's
boss
what
and my
you've
friend
been,
Dean Devlin,
exactly, consistently
Leverage,
working.
Who did the Librarians,
yes,
who
with
went
Dean.
back to Leverage, who gave me Almost Paradise, who I'm still working for to this day. In 10 days, we start season 8 of Leverage, and it was one more line. It was one more line that I almost didn't read.
That is a great story,
and that's why 90% of life is showing up.
Interesting. And it is definitely you and your role, like 1,000%.
I would think so.
You crush it.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's you through and through.
Thank you.
I love it. So tell me about the business venture, your restaurant business venture that you are involved in. I thought that'd be fun to tell our audience.
Absolutely.
Because let me tell the audience as well, Christian is an incredible chef.
Thank you.
Thank you. By choice, he just loves to cook, and it makes sense that he's gone into this venture. So he's going to tell us about it.
I tell you, man, it's a really good deal. It's my friend Billy Deck. Billy Deck is on Good Morning America all the time. He's cooked with he's been on numerous food shows on the Food Network and all that kind of stuff. And he has a place called Sunda in Chicago. Now I don't have a place of that, but I ate there. And a really cool story about that was I was sitting across from this dude, and I'll tell you who it is. And I'm sitting in the restaurant, and we're having the best food that I've ever had, and it's Asian fusion.
Yes,
you know
I
what I mean?
love Asian fusion.
He's Filipino. He's got some. I had never been to the Philippines at this point. I didn't know what Filipino cuisine was, and it's mixed in with Asian, with Japanese or sushi. But there's and I was like, this is the most incredible food. And there was this guy over there, and I go, hey guys, that's Patrick Kane from the Chicago Blackhawks.
Oh.
And Billy comes over and goes, hey man, Patrick wants to know if you'll take a picture with him. I'm like, what are you talking about? So I went over and I still got it. I took a picture with Patrick Kane, not because I went over, because he asked me, man, and it meant the world to me, man, that he did that. You know, Kane, both names spelled the same.
I love that.
I have like 6 of his jerseys now just because I'm a huge fan and because he has. And so anyway, so I loved the food, and I talked to Billy. I became friends with him, and he said, we're opening up a venture in Nashville. And so I got in on that. So we have one of the #1 restaurants in Nashville right now, Sunda, Sunday without the Y, Sunda New Asian.
Nice.
And then we just opened up one in Tampa, and currently I think tomorrow maybe opening the doors, another one in Chicago.
Good for you.
Down from the intern
I
or whatever.
love
it.
it.
And we're actually looking at another venture right now, but we're going to open up some more. So it's just, I believe in the food. I mean, I'm a little bit biased, but I'm just telling you, some of the best food that you've ever, it's just incredible. So and Billy Deck is an unbelievable businessman. He takes everything to heart. He knows about food. And so I'm in good hands.
So Nashville, Tampa, and maybe Chicago.
And
Chicago's a go.
Built.
Wonderful.
We're turning the key. Yeah.
That's
so there's 2 of them in Chicago now, which is nice.
Okay.
Downtown and then uptown. So yeah.
I love
and
it.
And then we're looking at another place right now, but I don't want to jinx it.
Okay, so so anybody in Tampa, Nashville, and Chicago, go check out Sunda.
Yeah,
it'll be delicious.
I'm telling you, man, it is. Yeah,
I love it. Okay, so we always end the show with 2 questions. I'm going to ask you just one of them because the second one won't apply. So 3 words that define Hugh Hefner to you.
3 words.
3 words.
Not a sentence, but 3 words.
3 words.
Brilliant. infectious.
That's a good one.
And conniving.
Nobody said that. I like.
No, I'm told you
That's
I'm a
cool.
guy going with a girl.
Okay, I love to hear.
But he was infectious. I mean, he, you know, his smile, his personality, his, you know, even though he didn't like me and wanted me out of the picture, he wouldn't let me know.
No,
you know
never.
what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
that wasn't. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate
Is
that.
that it? We're done?
Not quite.
Okay, good. Okay, I was like.
But yeah, that's always, I love that part, and everybody always says something different, and so the three that you just said, yeah, two of them were different than what I've heard so far. So, do you have anything that you want to plug besides what you got going on right now, and where can everybody watch your shows?
Listen, that's a fantastic question, because let me tell you something. We're very happy about this.
What?
I'm getting ready to do season 3 of Leverage Redemption.
Okay.
For the fans out there, it's season 8 of Leverage.
Okay.
This will be our first season on Amazon Prime.
Hell yeah.
They picked us, Amazon Prime picked us up. We're going up against the big boys, and we can hack it, so it's no big, I'm not even worried about it. But it's so much fun to get the recognition of the last 2 seasons that we've done. And then Amazon Prime goes, there's no reason why you shouldn't be here. So we'll be taking on the boys. We'll be taking on, you know, Jensen Ackles, one of my dearest friends. So it's going to be fun going up against him again.
Yay.
So that's it right now. And then, and everything else, we're just waiting here. It was tough. The strike was tough on everybody.
Well, absolutely.
And everybody's getting back out there. And we knew we were going to go. So it's time. And I'm actually, I'm going to get out of here and go back and film, man, in a different state. So it's I'm excited, man, to get back out there and throw some punches.
Yeah. Thank you so much. This worked out perfectly, and it's for spending an hour with me on my birthday today.
How long have we known each other?
23 years.
23 years.
23 years.
And still the dearest of friends.
Absolutely.
Always have been.
One of my most solid. I love you.
Happy birthday.
I am so grateful for you. I appreciate you.
Thank
and I'm
you.
so glad that we were able to make this happen.
Absolutely, man. I'm so proud of you. This is so great.
Thanks,
Happy birthday.
sweetheart.
Happy birthday.
Thank
and you
you,
deserve
thank
this.
you.
This is so great.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to follow us on IG at TBC Vodcast. Support the show at Patreon, at the Bunny Chronicles. And we also have our...
Christian Kane 1. Instagram is Christian Kane 1. I'll be posting some stuff about this as well. I'm sorry.
Okay, cool.
I wanted you to know because I'm going to promote it. Yeah, exactly.
Thank you, because I forgot to ask about that. So follow Christian Kane 1, and thebunnychronicles.com. Also, we have a merch line. Very few things are up, but we're working on it. So again, thank you for the support. We have a worldwide listening audience. Oh, I wanted to share with you. Yeah. So the UK is the second. So top 5 of countries that listen to us.
Yeah.
UK number 2, Germany number 5.
That's my people, man.
I know. When you told me that, so I was like, so a shout out to all of our fans in the UK and Germany. We
That's
love
so
you.
awesome.
Yeah. So thank you again. All right. I'm Echo. This is the Bunny Chronicles, and we'll see you next week. Thanks, Christian.
Thank you, babe. Come on. Happy birthday.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.